Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Business Mathematics. We are now at our seventh week. And for this week's topic, it's all about percent in business. So we will talk about how to convert percent into a decimal and also decimal to percent, and also talk about rate base and determining the percentage. So let's proceed to our topic, but I'll first show you some videos, and also I'll share a video discussed by Miss April. So I'll show you within this video.
In this video, we're going to focus on percentage, base, and rate problems. Like this one. What is 35% of 200? How can we find the answer to that question? Well, it turns out that there is a formula that we could use. And here it is. The percentage is equal to the base times the rate. Now you need to know what is the percentage, what is the base, and what is the rate in this problem. So the base is the number that is associated with the word of. The rate is the decimal form of the percentage, and the percentage is the number that is associated with the word is. So looking at this problem, what's P, what's B, and what's R? So we can see that 200 is associated with the word of. So 200 is the base. 35%, that's going to be the rate because there's a percentage in front of it. And what we're looking for, we're looking for the percentage in this problem. So what is 35% of 200? So now let's use this formula to get the answer. So we want to calculate P in this problem. The base is 200 and the percentage is 35%. That's the rate. I mean, let me not confuse that with P and R. R is 35%. So what is 35% as a decimal? 35% as a decimal is 0.35. So all we need to do is multiply 200 by 0.35 and you'll get 70. By the way, to convert a percentage into a decimal, simply move the decimal point 2 units to the left, or you could take 35 and divide it by 100. Both ways will give you 0.35. But for this problem, 70 is the answer. So 70 is 35% of 200. Now, for the sake of practice, let's go ahead and try another example. 40% is 30 of what number? Feel free to pause the video and try this example problem. So let's use the formula again. Percentage is equal to the base times the rate. So let's identify what we have. 40%, even though it has the percentage symbol in front of it, that is the rate. Now what about 30? Is 30, what does that tell us? The number that is associated with the word is the percentage. So that's P. And then of what number, that's what we're looking for. So in this problem, we're looking for the base, B. So that's what we need to calculate in the equation. Now let's plug in what we know. P is 30. We don't know the value of the base. And we know R, the rate, is 40%. So 40 divided by 100 is 0.40. So now we need to do a little math here. How can we calculate B, the base? In order to get B by itself on the right side of the equation, we need to divide both sides by 0.40. 0.40 divided by itself is 1, so those two numbers will cancel. On the left, we have 30 divided by 0.40, and that will give us 75. And so that is the base, that is the answer that we're looking for. So we can say that 40% is 30 of 75. So that's how we can complete the sentence. Now let's move on to our next example. 45 is what percent of 70? Go ahead and work on that example. So let's use the same formula. P is equal to B times R. So what's P, what's B, and what's R in this problem? So P is associated with the word is. 45 is, so 45 is going to be P. Of is associated with the base. So 70 is the base. The percentage in this formula is associated with R, the rate. So in this example, we want to calculate the value of R. So P is 45, B is 70, and now we need to get R by itself. To do that, let's divide both sides by 70. So R is going to be 45 divided by 70, and we're going to get a decimal. So you should get 0.6428571. And we're going to round it. We're going to say this is approximately 0.643. Now that's as a decimal. We need to convert that into a percentage. To do that, you can multiply 0.643 by 100 or move the decimal 2 units to the right. So R is approximately 64.3%. So we could say that 45 is approximately 64.3% of 70. So that is our answer. So that's it for this video. So now you know how to solve these percentage-based rate problems.
So from the video, um, we have discussed determining the percentage, the rate, and the base as well. So for the video, I will just send the link for it. So I will just post it on our GC or also into our handouts or modules as well. Now let's the next video that I will play is converting percents to decimals and also vice versa.
In this video, we're going to talk about how to convert a percentage into a decimal. So let's start with this example, 75%. How can we convert this number into a decimal? A simple way is to divide 75 by 100. If you type this in your calculator, 75 divided by 100, this will give you 0.75 as a decimal. Or you can start with a decimal and move it 2 spaces to the left. So 75% is 0.75. So let's try another example, 28%. If we take the decimal point, move it 2 spaces towards the left or divide it by 100, this will equate to 0.28. So 28% is 0.28. Try these two examples. Convert 36% and 45% into a decimal. So if we move the decimal point 2 spaces to the left, this is equal to 0.36, and 45% doing the same thing is 0.45. Now what about 9%? What is the value of 9% as a decimal? So if you start with the number 9, and if you move the decimal 1, 2 spaces, which it should be here now, you need to add a 0. This will give you 0.09. Now what about 4%? What's the value of 4% as a decimal? If 9% is 0.09, then 4% must be 0.04. Now feel free to pause the video and try these 3 examples. Convert 3.6%, 5.2%, and 1.9% into a decimal for the sake of practice. So if 4% is 0.04, 3.6% must be 0.036. Divide it by 100 or move the decimal 2 units to the left. So 5.2% must be 0.052 and 1.9% is 0.019. Now sometimes you may have a percentage that's larger than 100. So what is the decimal value of 136%? So if we take the decimal point and move it 2 units to the left, it's going to be between the 1 and the 3. So this equates to 1.36. So based on that example, convert these values into a decimal. So if 136% is 1.36, 438% must be 4.38. 596% is 5.96. And 240% is 2.40, or simply 2.4. You can write it both ways. Now in other cases, you may have a number that's less than 1. For example, let's say if you wanted to convert 0.15% into a decimal. You want to follow the same pattern. Move the decimal point 2 units to the left, or simply take a calculator, type in 0.15 and then divide it by 100. So 0.15 divided by 100 is 0.0015. If you move it 2 spaces to the left, this is 1, this is 2. So make sure you fill in another 0. So the decimal point is now right here. So there's 2 zeros in front of the 1, 5. So that's 0.15%. So if 0.15% is 0.0015, then go ahead and convert these values. 0.24%, 0.38%, and 0.41%. So if 0.15% is 0.0015, then 0.24% must be 0.0024. 0.38% has to be 0.0038, and the last one, 0.0041. Now let's try some other problems that have smaller values. So for example, I'm not sure what just happened there, but let me rewrite that. 0.05%. Go ahead and convert that into a decimal.
If you want to achieve better results, make a great impression.
Sorry for the advertisement. So let's proceed to our
If we move it
discussion.
2 spaces to the left, we need to add a 0. So there's going to be 3 zeros before the 5, so it's 0.005. Now try these. 0.073%, 0.016%, and 0.024% for the sake of practice. So 0.073%. All we got to add is 2 more zeros. It's going to be 0.00073. And 0.016 is going to be 0.00016. And then this is 0.00024. And that's about it. Now let's try a mixed review. Let's see if you got it. So I'm going to give you 6 problems, and I want you to convert each percentage into a decimal. So feel free to pause the video as you work on these examples. That's a 5, by the way. Let me just rewrite that. So let's start with the first one. Let's move the decimal 2 units to the left. So the decimal has to be in front of the 4. So it's 0.43. That's 43%. 8.2%. If we move the decimal 2 units to the left, there's going to be a 0 in front of the 8, so it's going to be 0.082. 750%. If we move the decimal 2 units to the left, it's going to be between the 7 and the 5, so it's simply 7.5. Now for 0.29%, there's going to be 2 zeros in front of the 29, so it's 0.0029. For 1580, the decimal is going to be between the 5 and the 8, so it's 15.8. And for the last one, we're going to add 2 zeros, so there's going to be a total of 3 zeros in front of the 3, so it's 0.00034. So now you know how to convert percentages into decimal values. And so that's basically it. By the way, if you want to find more videos like this, check out the description text below, and you can access my pre-algebra playlist if you haven't done so already. So thanks for watching, and have a great day. Now I want to show you one of my algebra courses that might be useful to you if you ever need it. So go to udemy.com. Now in the search box, just type in algebra, and it should come up. So it's the one with the image with the black background. So if you select that option, and if you decide to go to course content, you can see what's in this particular course. So the first section, basic arithmetic, for those of you who want to focus on addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And it has a video quiz at the end. It's a multiple choice video quiz. You can pause it, work on the problems, and see the solutions. It covers long division, multiplying two large numbers, and things like that. The next tutorial is on fractions. Adding, subtracting fractions, multiplying, dividing fractions, converting fractions into decimals, and so forth. So you can also take a look at that. Next, solve the linear equations, which we covered, and just more examples if you need more help with that. The next topic, order of operations, which is also useful. Graphing linear equations. You need to know how to calculate.
So in the video, I'll just post it in the GC for the link. So this would really help us or you if you have any difficulties regarding about our topics in business math. And I will show you another video regarding about percent also.
Fraction into a percentage. So let's start with the fraction 2 over 5. How can we convert that into a percentage? We're going to talk about two ways, but the first method is to convert the denominator into 100. In order to do that, we need to multiply the top and the bottom by 20. 5 times 20 is 100. 2 times 20 is 40. Now whatever number you get in the numerator of this fraction is going to be the percentage. So 2 out of 5 equates to 40%. And that's one simple technique that you can use to convert a fraction into a percentage, is if this number can easily be converted to 100. Sometimes it can't. But let's work on some more examples. Convert these two fractions into a percentage. 7 out of 10 and 4 over 25. Now for the first example, in order to get a denominator of 100, we need to multiply the top and the bottom by 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 7 times 10 is 70. So therefore, this corresponds to a percentage of 70%. Now what about 4 out of 25? What is that as a percentage? Well, 100 divided by 25 is 4. So we got to multiply the top and the bottom by 4. So 25 times 4 is 100. 4 times 4 is 16. So 4 over 25 is equal to 16%. Here are some other examples.
So the next video that I will show you is the vice versa percent to fraction. Yes.
this lesson, we're going to talk about how to convert a percent into a fraction. So let's start with 38%. How can we convert this into a fraction? Well, you need to know that 38% is equivalent to 38 divided by 100. Percentages are based out of 100. Now, once you have this fraction, all you need to do is reduce it. Both numbers are even. So what you can do, if you want, is you could break down 38 into 19 times 2. If you divide 38 by 2, you're going to get 19. 100 is 50 times 2. Now notice that we can cancel a 2. So that fraction reduces to 19 over 50. And that's how you can convert a percentage into a reduced fraction. Now there's a lot more different examples that you need to be exposed to.
Who's ready to hatch some cool pets? Click here to make your very own.
Sorry for the ad.
And this is just one of them.
So let's
But for the
proceed
sake
back
of
to our
practice,
discussion.
go ahead and work on this one. Convert 45% into a simplified fraction or reduced fraction. So let's follow the same process. First, let's write it as 45 over 100. Now, all we need to do at this point is we need to reduce the fraction. Whenever you see a number that ends in 5 or 0, that means that it's divisible by 5. It turns out that 45 is 9 times 5, and 100 is 20 times 5. You could find the numbers 9 and 20 by dividing 45 by 5 and 100 divided by 5. You'll get the 9 and 20. But we can cancel a 5, and that's as far as we can go. So 45% is equivalent to 9 over 20 as a reduced fraction. And this is the answer for that example. Go ahead and try these two. Convert 25% into a reduced fraction and do the same for 36%. So let's start by writing this as 25 divided by 100. 25 is 5 times 5. 100 is 20 times 5. So we can cancel a 5, and we can reduce it further. So right now we have 5 over 20. It turns out that 20 is 5 times 4. So we can cancel a 5 as well. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so when you get rid of the 5 on top, replace it with a 1. And therefore, 25% is equivalent to 1/4 as a simplified fraction. Now, let's do the same thing with 36%. Let's write it as 36 over 100. Now, 36 is 9 times 4. 100 is 25 times 4. So we can cancel a 4, and we're left with just 9 over 25. And that's the answer. So 36% is equivalent to this fraction.
So I hope this video helps us with regarding to our week's topic. So we have discussed fraction to percent and percent to fraction, and also percent to decimal and decimal to percent. And then we have discussed also determining based rate and percentage as well. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. So I'll just post the video links that that highly helped us with regards to our topic for this week. So before ending this discussion, I would require you to answer activity 1 of your handouts, so on your PDF as well. So kindly answer that and submit it to me as well. And then before ending this lesson, so before ending this lesson, let's do a recap of what we have learned. So again, the use of percent in business is gaining widened acceptance. When relating any part of the whole, the common language is expressed in percent. The word percent came from the Latin word percentum, which means for every 100. That is why if we want to get the percentage, we have to multiply the part or portion of a whole by 100. So we have here example. So again, and then we have discussed percent to fraction and percent to decimal as well, and decimal to percent, and also determining the percentage and rate. So we have here the math video tutorial link. So again, for your activity, just answer activity one. And then before ending this lesson, I would like to say thank you. And said Jesus, everything is possible for one who believes, from the book of Mark, chapter 9, verse 23. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you once again, and God bless everyone.